Have you wondered if it's possible to start a family law firm and go from zero to 20,000 plus a month in under a year? Well, we have been following Tom Harton as he has done just that, starting his firm last September of 2024. And here we are finishing up June, and he's concluded his second month in a row at 20,000 plus in revenue. Well, hello and welcome to the Sterling Family Law Show. My name is Jeff Hughes. I'm the co-host. I'm the CEO and founder of Sterling Lawyers. We are a 27 attorney family law firm doing over 17 million in revenue. And my co-host is also joining today, Tyler Dolph. He's the CEO of our sister company. And our purpose is to share our wins, our losses, and equip family lawyers to have the firm of their dreams. And this week, we're back with Tom Harton, one of my favorite monthly shows. Tom, we have been following Tom since September, actually before September of last year, but he started his firm in September of 24 and has had two crazy good months in a row. Tom, this is starting to look like a trend, so I'm going to hand it over to you. What has happened number-wise in the month? So we're sitting here in July, obviously, July 14th today, and then we're looking at June of last month. So what happened in June of last month?
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Jeff. And hi to you, Tyler. So June was, I guess that puts me at month 9, right? July 9 or 10. I don't know. Too early for math. But yeah, around month 9.
When you have to do math on the spot, it's really, really hard to do that. The pressure, everyone's looking at you trying to add.
May was the first month I crossed the $20,000 threshold in top line revenue. And I continued that trend in June. So a little dip, but nothing substantial. May was 24,000, and June was a little over 22,000 in top line revenue, which is awesome. I love to see those numbers, obviously, and hoping those numbers continue to go up.
Yeah. So break down your numbers. So, leads and consults, and what all happened there.
Leads went up a little. So I had 11 leads. Consults, and I don't have the answer for this off my head, but consults, 6 of them turned into consults, and 3 of those consults turned into hires. So, I think leads wise, I'm trying to think of reasons why the leads did not turn into consults, because usually that number is much higher for me, especially since as of right now, I am still doing free consults, right? So if someone calls and says, hey, I'm looking for a free consultation, do you do them? And I say, yes, it's pretty rare for that consultation not to happen.
You said 11 leads to 6 consults?
I believe so, yeah. And Tyler, I know I'm working with the team at Rocket Clicks to get a CRM going. I am very poor at tracking these numbers, at least the lead number. Sometimes that is a little bit of an educated guess. The consult number and the hire number is definitely accurate.
So that CRM will be very important. Yeah, but the interesting point you made, a little more than 50% from lead to consult, and then exactly 50% from consult to hire.
Yes, which I think that number, the 50% number, is from consult to hire is pretty standard. Looking at my past numbers, that's probably about where I've been, average, about 50%.
So I think you're doing this, Tom, but I'll just offer this up for benefit of our discussion here in our audience. So being consistent about your definition around what a lead is can be hard, right? But you have to, in order to be able to have the data you need to make a decision in the future about your marketing, right? So how are you defining what counts as a lead? If I called you up and said, hey, I've got a small time criminal OWI or DUI type deal, are you going to count that? Like, what are you doing?
No, I shouldn't be, right? So a lead to me is somebody who's looking for a divorce or family law attorney, so some custody issues, support issues, stuff like that, and they're in my area. They're in Nassau County or Suffolk County, or I might take some cases in Queens County too. But so I guess those would be my 2 primary factors. Are they in my practice area, divorce or family issues, and are they in my location? So, and another thing that's tough with leads is, we were just talking about this offline, is I'm still answering the phone. So if someone calls at 9 p.m. and I pick up the phone real quick and talk to them, I might forget to write that one down. So that's a little more difficult. So I am looking forward to putting that CRM in place so we can track that number a little bit more accurately. And we probably should break that up into like total number of calls, how many of those calls were actually qualified leads, and then that should probably be a second step that we're tracking there. And but yeah, that's hard to do without a CRM. So,
Tom, do you feel like of the 11 leads, and let's assume the number's right at 11, did you talk to all 11 of them?
Yeah, I wouldn't have counted it as a lead if I didn't speak to them. Yeah. And I can think of two offhand that booked a consult, and then one of them didn't show up. She actually called back. It was supposed to be like a Monday morning consult. She didn't show up. She had some issues. She called back like Monday later in the day and asked to reschedule for later this week. So that's one I can think of off the top of my head. And then, although we're talking about June, so I guess that one actually doesn't count. But
so, Tom, are you getting a sense yet as to what your average client value is from a standpoint of revenue?
My numbers will be all over the place. So I have, I would say what's been driving my revenue in May and June has been probably like 3 cases that are there's just been a lot of court appearances, maybe 4 cases, a lot of court appearances, a trial going on in one of them where their first trial date was in May. Family court's so backed up. So full trial day in May, and then, half a day of prep before that. Second trial day was in June, half a day prep before that. And then we have the last 2 days scheduled in August. So that's driving the revenue. Another client where there's issues in family court and Supreme Court. So there's a lot going on there. Actually, there's 2 like that where I have clients that have issues in family court and Supreme Court at the same time.
Yeah. Now, Supreme Court in New York is different than every other state,
sorry,
right?
Let me clarify that. Yeah, Supreme Court is our lowest court in New York.
Yeah.
We can thank the Dutch for that tradition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on revenue, are you counting revenue as billed, or do you count it as received once received? What's your definition there?
So I'll say that is billed, but I will also add a caveat to say that my collection rate is 100%. I have not sent out a bill that I have not been paid for. So yeah, I have not collected. So the way that I work is I send out the bill earlier in the month, and then a lot of people pay by credit card. So I won't actually charge that. Right now we're sitting July 14th, so I'll probably charge that next Friday, whatever that is. And that's when that money will be collected. But yeah, that's the bill that was sent out. But as I've said, thankfully to you and 1 or 2 other people who early on told me to focus on making sure my collection rate is very high.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very
well. I was just going to compliment you on that. You're doing great with that.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your revenue, but more probably important, congratulations on your collection rate, because you could have a lot of revenue but collect 50% of it.
Right. And I know that's a big problem in the family law industry, and that's something you probably deal with less because you're dealing with fixed fees, right? So you probably collect more upfront. But for me, who wants to do fixed fee but currently is still doing hourly, yeah, that's a big issue. And I heard that thankfully from enough people before I really got going to put those systems in place to make sure.
Yeah. Good. So all right. So working our way out of your numbers, you got a new office that you're in now. Let's talk about that transition. What's going on there?
I did. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a ton to say. I like it a lot better. It's literally across the street. So it was a really, really easy move. Hopefully didn't impact my map rankings at all. It didn't really seem like it did. But it is much bigger. I have room to fit 1 or 2 other people in here, probably 1, but I could even fit 2 if I needed to, which should segue us into our next talking point is hiring. But yeah, I mean, the space is great. I'm really, really happy to have it. And it wasn't surprising. Like I said, same exact location across the street, probably 2.5 times the size and same price. So I don't know why.
That's great.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't make this move. Yeah. $50 more.
You did bring up an interesting thing I want to double tap on, and that's the map rankings for moving locations. Tyler, maybe you can kind of opine on this a little bit. So why would that potentially be an issue, and what'd you do to work around it?
if we look at the Sterling Law data over the last 10 years, 46% of all of our family law leads have come from a local search, right? Someone searching for a divorce attorney near me, or attorney name plus city name. And so ensuring that you are visible in the maps is paramount, because literally half of the available leads live there. And so doing the right thing, helping Google understand, I've moved offices, I've set up a new Google My Business profile, I've got the postcard in the mail with the code on it, and I've entered that information. We did all this for you, Tom, but this is, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about moving, ensure that you help Google understand that you have moved, and that you update your Google My Business profile so that you don't miss out on some of those map-based leads.
So how did you do that, practically speaking, Tom, from moving across the street in 1 month and not see a dip? Did you have to plan that in advance, or what all took place there?
What I did was I reached out to the team at Rocket Clicks and said, hey, I need to move because I was just having a lot of issues with my other location. And they told me to expect a little bit of a dip, but maybe hopefully that dip shouldn't last more than, I think they said somewhere 2 to 4 weeks, something like that. So you might see a real short temporary dip just while Google does, I don't know, whatever they do. That's why I have Rocket Clicks. I don't get too involved in that, but whatever Google doing, whatever they do to re-index me in their search results. And I don't think I've seen any dip as far as I can tell. But I guess let me go back and look in August, but look back at these numbers. But yeah, as far as I could tell, I haven't really noticed anything.
So obviously the lesson here is you're moving. Think ahead on this issue, because this directly impacts your lead flow. So get in front of it so you can make sure you minimize that dip.
And of course, so we're only right now speaking about my Massapequa office. Of course, I still have the Melville one also, which, yeah, to date that office is that one's been really, really slow. Massapequa has been, I want to say all, if not, I have one client that could possibly have come out of Melville. I don't know how. I wasn't tracking well at that time. I know he works in Melville, but he lives in Seaford, which is the town right next to Massapequa. So he could have found me in either search result. So yeah, this is still by far, it's my first location and still by far the busiest.
Yeah. We've talked a little bit in the past about hiring, and now it's starting to happen. So let's dig into this. This is a fun topic. Tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, I am. And yeah, we have talked about it. And I think last time I was still torn between whether I was going to go for an associate or a paralegal. And then I made the decision pretty quickly thereafter to I want to go right ahead and hire an associate. I guess best answer is that I want to grow as quickly as possible. Realistically, I probably need both at some point. Hiring an associate without a paralegal, will they be happy about that? I don't know. And I know getting off topic here, but different firms utilize paralegals differently. So I know I've spoken to attorneys who might have 3 attorneys for every paralegal, and then I've heard the opposite, where like one attorney might have 2 paralegals working for them. So I think you tend to lean more towards the latter, where you have your paralegals do a lot of work, like, a lot of drafting and pretty much anything that's not giving legal advice or appearing in court or anything like that. There's no reason a paralegal can't handle it. But yeah, I don't know, if I look forward, and I still do, I don't like to talk about this too much, but I do have the benefit of having that other job where I can always pick up more work from that, doing patent work on a contract basis, right? So I can hire an associate. I can give them, pretty much all of my new incoming work and some of the work that I'm already doing, as long as the case is like new enough. Then, if my goal is to grow as quickly as possible, then it just made made the most sense to me.
Yeah, makes sense. So you put up an ad on Indeed for a lawyer.
Put up a listing, and it's a sponsored listing, so it should be appearing towards the top, and that just means I pretty much pay Indeed to have my listing go towards the top. And yeah, I've gotten, I think, only 3. Again, it's only been open 3.5 weeks, something like that at this point, and I've gotten 3 resumes, but nobody I've wanted to interview yet. So it is definitely a difficult hiring market. So,
and Tom, did you just choose Indeed? Because it's the one you've heard of versus other?
I did actually. Well, if you have better ideas, I'm definitely open to it. It is. It was kind of like a test, like a quick decision. Yeah, I'm going to hire somebody. I think it's, I think the other thing I thought about would have been going the recruiter route, but obviously then you pay them a fee, and so I don't know if I get desperate enough, I might resort to that. But
I've never had a good experience with recruiters, and I've went back to that well a few times. Yeah. We've had modest success on our state bar bulletin board, job listing board. So that's been something that's worked well in Wisconsin. Ironically, we've had zero success in Illinois with that. So I don't get it. I guess lawyers in Illinois don't look at the state bar website, and Wisconsin lawyers do, I suppose. But that's been something. But overall, Indeed is the winner for us too. So
yeah. So yeah, and so let's see. I know my salary range is where it should be, perhaps even a little bit on the higher end. Looking for someone, I think I put 2 to 5 years experience. Ideally, I'm probably looking in that 3-year range. So of the 3 resumes, I can tell you off the top of my head, one of them was an experienced attorney with no divorce or family law experience. They all like criminal law background, and like I think some trust and estates work. Another one was a fresh law graduate, despite that I had very clearly listed that I was looking for, and that they came from like really good school, and I don't know, but still I need someone with experience, especially given my background. So that one, and then there was another one that had like 5 jobs over the past 3 years or something like that. So yeah, none of those were people I was interested in hiring. And I think the other 2 I didn't even respond to. I think the new grad I just responded to, like, hey, I'm looking for someone with experience. You have great credentials, probably better off looking at, a larger firm would be more likely to train you. Best of luck, something like that. But
well, for what it's worth, I'll share some experience here to kind of maybe help you target where you're going after. I have found that school means zero, nada. It has no influence on a lawyer's ability to perform in family law. So that's been my experience. Now, maybe I'm telling you that because I came from I don't know, 3rd or 4th year law school.
I was just going to say that. I've heard so many people say that, but I did take out the loans to go to a very good school, Jeff. So I don't.
Yeah, but you're an IP law. Maybe it's different there. But
no, I think even less so, actually.
Okay. And I have also found that experience is important, but it's not in the top most important. So legal experience, the most important that I have found in family law is interpersonal ability. That is far more important than I'll take a 38-year-old paralegal that's been a paralegal for 5 years over a 10-year attorney all day long. I mean, a paralegal has become a lawyer going to night school. Those people are incredible.
I will agree with you 100% with a slight pushback, saying you have at this point systems in place to train someone, right? If you bring in an associate with no experience, yeah, I don't have that. I don't have the time to train them. I don't know. I don't have, right. I'm hiring someone. This is a unique situation where I'm hiring someone with more experience than me. That probably.
Yeah. And I'm not challenging your decision, Tom, whatsoever. I'm sharing my experience, maybe for the benefit of our audience, just as they're looking at it, but at hiring. So
yeah, no, I think if you have an established culture and established, training system, yeah, I could definitely see the benefit of bringing on, new law graduates, because they get trained on your systems, and they're not, they don't have that baggage coming from other firms and all that. But yeah, I'm not there obviously yet. So
Tom, this is going to be a time suck, but you do have a really unique story, and and this is a unique opportunity for your firm, because it's someone who can come in and really establish themselves and literally be like a major component of your practice. And one thing that we found over at the agency side is deliberate direct outreach via LinkedIn. And so we curate lists all the time of ideal candidates, and then we like literally direct message them and tell them about the opportunity or what we're doing.
I've thought about that, and not only on LinkedIn, but even I know of like 3 or 4 larger firms around here that, I don't know, I guess are known for bringing people in and training them, and they probably don't pay well, and they're probably high stress environments. So they're, the type of firms where people go, they work a few years, and then they go work somewhere else. I think it's fairly common there. So I've almost thought about, a lot of those firms will list their associates on their website and their like email addresses and contact information, and just reaching out to them by email also. I don't.
The worst thing they could say is not interested.
Yeah, right. Or the firm has some type of spam filter that just makes my message not even get delivered to them. So
they're not that sophisticated. I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those direct reach out emails, and I can tell you that in our early years, we had by far the most success in one-on-one reach outs. LinkedIn. I mean, both of our current managing partners today, I reached out to them personally on LinkedIn and got their interest and got their attention and brought them over. So I would not underestimate that at all. Now you'll probably start to anger some of the other lawyers in town, but that's okay. None of them are sending you a check. So
yeah, right.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So also, and Tyler mentioned this, and let me go back and kind of underscore this a little bit. Your story is pretty incredible. Your growth story, your 9, I can't do the math either on the spot, but we just finished. Let's call it. Let's see, September.
I actually want to say,
okay, we just finished your 10th month.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we just finished, and you're already at averaging 20 grand plus a month in revenue, at least over the past 2 months. Okay, let's put that out there. So, you've got an amazing story to tell, and that's like one of your biggest, I think, leverage points. You don't have all these other things, so I would lean in on that. I would also share the link to all of these interviews that we've done here with you together, because that really helps someone that is interested in getting in a growing, vibrant new firm with already 2 locations to get to know you a little bit better. So I would leverage that. I mean, you're already out there. There's certain people that are really be drawn to that and drawn to you and your story and get to know you before they even meet you. So
they get so much autonomy, right? You want them to take on that responsibility. There's a lot of firms and a lot of founders who can't let go of the vine, who are, in the weeds on every single case. This potential new hire has an opportunity of a lifetime.
Right. Yeah. And I said that I think on our last podcast that I think it is an attractive offer. I'm, not only financially, but just the ability to, come in and run your cases the way you want to run them, as long as you're doing things ethically. And, obviously I think need to have some kind of oversight of the cases, but, at a really high level, just making sure everything's being done right. And then, kind of putting, making sure my like firm personality, I don't know, it's probably a better term for that, but culture is being carried out. And, like I said, if you're doing a good job and, bringing in, getting good reviews from clients and, good feedback and all that, you can run the case the way you want to run it.
What's the advertised starting salary that you've offered?
I think I put 120 to 160,000, I think was the range.
Wow.
Which,
a great start.
Yeah. So my target is, like I said, 2 or 3 years experience, probably should expect to pay about 140 for that, which, I think is probably on the higher end for my area. So.
And have you got any feedback from other lawyers in your community that have said anything to you about it?
No, just the one I spoke to who, said, seemed like everything was in the right spot, but that there's just so much competition for associates in that, that experience range, that 2 to 5 year.
Jeff, are you seeing the same thing across Wisconsin and Illinois? And is this a bigger topic, for our listeners that on the forefront of a hiring blitz that's coming?
Well, we've always struggled to find really quality lawyers. As we've gotten bigger, however, it's been easier because our name reputation's out there. So it does get easier as you grow. But, the first 7-8 years, it was a constant struggle. And we struggled too with just a lot of things internally, operationally. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit by creating a reputation that we didn't want to have, just because of the way we were operating. So, but it's a struggle for everyone, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't know, small sample size, right? It's only been out there 3.5 months, and part of that was over. I probably didn't post it at the best time. It's like July. People are traveling. People are taking vacations anyway. So,
no silver bullet here.
What do you say?
There's no silver bullet here. It's really just like doing the exercise and having the conversations and finding the right products. It's so important for the next phase of your firm.
You know that new lawyer who reached out even though they just graduated from law school? A lot of times that's indicative of a mentality where they're going to ignore the rules and be a little bit more aggressive than others. That they applied, even though the ad said don't apply unless you have 2 years. Sometimes those people are worth talking to because you might find someone who's really autonomous and they can get going on their own and they can just go figure it out because they're willing to ignore the conventions that are put in front of them. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. I don't know.
It's probably worth your time to call them and just talk to them and to see. And maybe it's a future hire.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think for
I would have been one. I would have been someone you would have wanted to hire because I was very autonomous. I can just figure it out on my own, even as a brand new associate. So, and I would have ignored those rules. I'm just going to apply. What are you going to do? Say no to me? That's okay. It would have been no anyway. So that would have been my mentality. And so I would not exclude those people that apply outside of your conventions.
I agree.
It's worth a phone call.
I think if maybe like someone had 1 year experience or something, but I don't think I'm in a position to hire a new grad right now as my first.
I want to challenge you on that, Tom. You would have hired Jeff Hughes 20 plus years ago. I was just aggressive. I just wanted to go. I was in court day 2 on my own. You would have been totally happy with that. I would have known pretty much as you do right now starting off.
But then you would have left your own firm. I'm kidding.
Well, so what?
I'm kidding.
Maybe you would have created an opportunity for me that I would have stayed and been your managing partner at some point. All I'm saying is that I want to challenge that thinking, well, they're not 2 years, so I can't talk to them. You may find it's worth a conversation. And you'll know right away. If they're scared of their shadow, you'll sense it and you'll just move on. But if you sense this like hunger and aggressiveness and pushing, and those are rare people. They're not like, they're like 1 in 20. But if you get that person, you may like, I'm just gonna give you a chance. And we're not going to start you off at 120, Jeff Hughes, because you don't know anything, and you cheated whenever you applied. You shouldn't have applied, but I'm going to let you in at 90, whatever. I mean, tell the story to them and just challenge.
I'm a product of that, just for the record. I met Jeff Hughes on a plane and had a little.
That's right. I didn't know that story till like 2 months ago. It's an awesome story. It's funny. I'll consider it, Jeff. I am. I don't know.
That's a strong maybe.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Having someone come and, I guess I would need to set the rules. Like, hey, you have to figure everything out. I wouldn't want that. Someone coming in their first week and be like, hey, how do I do this? Right. I don't want to be training someone on the legal side right now. I don't have the time. Even right now, like one of the reasons I expect my revenue in July to be a little bit lower is I have so much administrative stuff that I haven't had time to do. Setting up a CRM, setting up billing systems. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff like that I need to do. And so if I hire someone, again, my goal is to offload a lot of the legal work to them so that I have room to A, do some work on my other job, B, do a lot of like the administrative stuff at my firm and at least get systems in place the way I want them to be in place. And then of course you could hire someone to run them after that and start doing some more like in-person networking and getting involved on that side and trying to bring in business locally like that. I don't think we do on a statewide level. I believe we do in like bar associations, like local bar associations. So I know, I am thankful to know the president of the Nassau County Bar Association, who is James Joseph, who is a friend of yours that I met through, I always forget if it was your podcast or another podcast. But you know him. I know you guys interact pretty frequently. So I've heard him talk about how they have that in the Nassau County Bar Association, which that's my county where I practice in Nassau County. So yeah, but obviously then you need to, I'm not currently a member of the Nassau County Bar Association. I probably should be. But yeah, I know they have that. So it's, obviously something I need to pay to get into. And I don't think it's that cheap, but it might be worth it.
Yeah, just a thought.
Yeah. And even when I was first starting, I reached out to James to ask for like a couple template documents, and he gave them to me without a second thought. So he's been awesome.
He's wonderful.
Yeah. Although I will say, James, Joseph, if you're listening to this, he is starting to run LSAs in my area. Yeah, which I expect nothing less. I know he's looking to grow, and he's got a great firm. So,
all right. Anything else on your mind?
No, I don't think so. I think hopefully by next month I'll have some, better news on the hiring front, and hopefully business keeps going. Well, one thing we were going to talk about, I forget if we hit it briefly or kind of glossed over it, but answering service.
Yeah. You have a vacation coming up here in August that you're going to be out a week. So how are you thinking about that?
It's not like it's a vacation where I could still answer if I had to.
Yeah.
I would like not to, right? Like, so I took a vacation in April, and that was to Disney World, which is an impossible place to answer the phone. Even if I heard my phone ringing,
it's a small world in the background.
Right. But I would say, fortunately or unfortunately, I think I got like 2 calls the entire week that I was there. So fortunately for my kids, unfortunately for business. But that was a slow month. But if things keep going in this direction, I don't expect August to be slow like that. So this is, we're going to a lake. I could probably be available to answer my phone much of the time. But I prefer not to be. So I know, long term, I would love to have someone in-house that's answering my phone, during all hours and after hours. But for now, I almost feel like I need like a Band-Aid for now, because I don't think that I'm there yet. And if I am looking to hire an associate, I can't also hire like a full-time, receptionist or intake team or whatever the right term is at this point. So someone, at least to answer the phone, after hours or while I'm in court, something like that, or while I'm on vacation. And I could still, be the one answering the phone during normal business hours if I'm just here working on other stuff.
Tom, I personally think this is a great idea. The fact is, you're only going to get busier, right? Your firm is going to continue to grow. And we talk about this a lot on the podcast, but the fact that when someone calls in to talk about their divorce, normally this is the first time they're telling someone that they don't know outside of their friend or family circle about a terrible thing that's happening in their lives. And so they don't want to do that 3, 4, 5 times. The answer rate is so important to generating growth within a family law firm, because you have to have the at-bat. And if you're not calling them back within 5 or 6 minutes, they are now telling that story to someone else, and they're not going to tell it to you. And so we coach our clients at Rocket Clicks all the time on the importance of answer rate and the importance of callback. And so I would just encourage you to find a solution here, whether it is, okay, you're going to do it yourself, or you're going to find some after hours or, call center that can at least pick it up.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, it's a new problem. I've been, for the first, again, we're in month 10, for probably first 8 months, I was answering, 98% of my calls, myself, and, scheduling the consults and everything like that. But now court has been a big one. It's, obviously you can't pick up the phone while you're in court, and, starting to get more calls on weekends and stuff, which, if I see it ringing, I'll answer it. It's not like I'm not answering my phone on weekends, but sometimes I'm away from my phone, especially I spend a lot of time at the beach in the summer. Hard to answer your phone when you're in the ocean. And it's funny, I actually find some people are taken aback when the attorney answers the phone, and like I don't know if it's in a bad way or not. They're just like, oh, I wasn't expecting to get the attorney right away. And I haven't encountered a problem with that, but I almost feel like it looks better if someone else answers the phone.
You could really lean into it and talk about the importance of every client.
Yeah, and I do. Yeah, of course. So I don't know. I think probably I'm familiar with some of the bigger answering services like Answering Legal, or another one, something receptionist. So I don't know if that's
Ruby or something like that.
Yeah, maybe that's one. That might be a temporary solution that I sign up with. Maybe that's, something I do for the end of the year. And I'm sure there's easy ways to schedule, like, I'm available to answer at this time, and, I'm not in court today, so I can answer it. Or, I am in court, or I'm on vacation. I need you to answer it at this time. And I don't know how it works. That's, again, it's a new problem. So, but I'm sure they've been around a long time, so I'm sure they've got it figured out. But I know
a lot of AI answering service companies popping up all over the place.
I'm reluctant to use that. And that might be a personal thing. I hate calling places and getting automated answering services. So I don't know.
I agree. How the human is important.
Yeah, right. Especially in what we do. So yeah, I guess that's something else I'm looking into. Something else I need more time for. Another reason not to hire a fresh grad, Jeff.
Yeah. All right. Well, good, Tom. This has been a great month already. So looking forward to hearing what's going on for the month of July. Next month.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Good talking to you.
Appreciate it, Tom. Good to see you.